All right, if you're an independent artist, you know the grind is real, but listen to this. What if I told you there's a multi-billion-dollar pot of money with your name on it that you're probably not even touching? Well, today we're going to fix that. This is your no-nonsense guide to music royalties. Stick with me, and by the end of this, you'll have a clear map to claiming every single cent you've earned.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the big problem, the one that's costing artists a fortune. Then we'll break down the two essential copyrights. Think of them as the foundation. After that, we'll get into the different kinds of royalties, figure out who's supposed to be collecting all this cash for you, and wrap it all up with a super simple 3-step action plan to make sure you actually get paid.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1. We're calling this the 10% problem, and it's all about why so much of your hard-earned cash just gets left on the table.
Okay, let's put this into perspective. 10%. That's the slice of the entire global music business that came from licensing fees in 2024. I mean, we are not talking about chump change here. This is a massive, massive river of money that as an artist you have every right to tap into.
So, yeah, it's the big question, isn't it? If all this money is floating around, why are so many artists missing out? Why does it feel so impossible to get? Well, the short answer is the system is just incredibly complex.
Yeah, this quote really hits the nail on the head. For so many indie artists, it just seems crazy complicated at first. And honestly, that confusion isn't an accident. It leads to this thing the industry calls the black box, which is basically a giant, ever-growing pile of unclaimed royalty money. Our whole goal today? To give you the keys so your money never, ever ends up in there.
Okay, so how do we start navigating this maze? It all starts with understanding the basic building blocks. And here's the absolute most important thing to get. Every single song you create actually has 2 separate copyrights attached to it. Not 1, 2.
Here's the easiest way to think about it. The composition, that's the song itself. The melody, the lyrics, the chords, it's the blueprint of the song. Now the master recording, that's the actual audio file. It's the specific recording you made, the WAV file you export from your DAW. They are 2 totally separate things, and this is key. They earn money in different ways. Getting this distinction is probably the single most important concept in the entire royalty world. So now that we've got the 2 copyrights down, the blueprint and the house, let's look at how they actually make you money. Because depending on how your music is used, it triggers different kinds of payments. We're going to break down the 3 main types of royalties you need to know about. First up, we've got mechanical royalties. The key word here is reproduced. Anytime a copy of your song, the composition, the blueprint, is made, a mechanical royalty is generated. Simple as that.
Yeah, back in the day, this was easy to picture. Think CDs being pressed or vinyl records. But today, it also includes digital downloads. And here's the one that blows people's minds: interactive streaming. Every single time someone hits play on your song on Spotify or Apple Music, a tiny temporary copy of that song is made on their phone or computer. And guess what? That counts as a reproduction. And that means you're owed a mechanical royalty.
Okay, next up, performance royalties. This one is pretty much what it sounds like. If your music is performed or broadcast in public, you get paid. This one can apply to both the song itself and the master recording, depending on where it's played.
And I want you to know, the word publicly covers a lot of ground. We're not just talking about getting played on the radio or performing a live show. We're talking about the music playing in a bar, a restaurant, a retail store, even the gym. And yes, a stream on Spotify or a video on YouTube or TikTok, those all count as public performances. Every single one of them is generating a royalty that belongs to you.
And the third major type is synchronization royalties, or sync for short. This is the big one. It's when your music gets synced up with any kind of visual media, like in a movie, a TV show, a video game.
Sync is a massive, massive opportunity. We're talking everything from huge blockbuster films and TV shows to ads, video games, and even user-generated stuff like Instagram Reels. Now, what's different about sync is that there's usually not a fixed rate. These are fees that you or your representatives negotiate for each project, and you get paid for both the use of the composition and the master recording.
Okay, so we know what the royalties are. But how does that money actually find its way from a coffee shop in Ohio into your bank account? Well, the good news is you don't have to go door to door collecting it. There are organizations out there whose entire job is to be your guide through this maze.
Let's take a PRO, a performing rights organization, as an example. Their job is to issue licenses to places like radio stations, bars, venues, basically anyone who plays music publicly. Then they track what gets played, collect all the money, and send you your share. But, and this is a huge but, they do this by matching the song to you using data, your metadata. If that data is incomplete or wrong, they have no idea who to pay. And that money? Yep, it goes straight into that dreaded black box we talked about.
So think of this chart as your personal royalty collection dream team. Each player has a very specific job. Your PRO, like an ASCAP or BMI, is laser-focused on collecting performance royalties for your songwriting. Then you've got a CMO, like Sound Exchange, which collects a special kind of performance royalty for the master recording. Your distributor, like DistroKid, is who gets your music onto Spotify and collects the master streaming royalties from them. And finally, the publishing administrator. Think of them as your secret weapon. They go out and collect all the mechanical royalties and other global money that your PRO can't. You really do need the whole team working for you.
Okay, we've gone through the problem, the copyrights, the royalty types, and the players. Now for the part you've been waiting for. Let's put it all together into a clear, actionable 3-step plan to make sure you get paid.
Seriously, it boils down to just these 3 essential steps. Step 1, get your data foundation rock solid. This means getting your codes, your ISRC for the master recording and your ISWC for the composition. These are like the fingerprints for your music. They're how everything gets tracked. Step 2, collect your recording revenue. That means signing up with a distributor and a CMO like Sound Exchange. And finally, step 3, collect your composition revenue. This means joining a PRO and getting set up with a publishing administrator. That's it. That is the whole shebang.
So after everything we've talked about, it all really comes down to one simple question you have to ask yourself. Is your music metadata ready to make you money? Because when it is, you stop just being an artist and you become a business owner who is fully in control of their career. And that's when you really start getting paid.